Well, hi, y'all. Today is May 4th, and here is another special edition of Tuesday's Truth and a Tune for you. I hope it helps your day. 1 Peter 5, verses 6 and 7. Therefore humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you at the proper time, casting all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you. With all that's going on in the world today, and we don't need to rehash it here, we can fall prey to the trap of feeling abandoned by God, powerless to effect change, or just downright saddened of life in general, whether we're personally being attacked or not. Now, if you feel or have felt this way, you are not alone. Nor is this a phenomenon new to 21st century Christians. In fact, let's take a look at Psalm 13, and we'll discover that David struggled with the same scenario. The psalm is only 6 verses long. In the first 2, David lays out his struggle and his pain. He says, "How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart all the day?" Maybe you've wondered the same thing today, maybe last week, last month, or maybe even a year ago. David feels forgotten by God, that God is hiding from him. He's sorrowful and beat upon and feels like he has to deal with it all by himself. Then in verses 3 and 4, David takes action by crying out to God in prayer. He says, "Consider and answer me, O Lord my God, enlighten my eyes." And then something very interesting happens in the final 2 verses. He says, "But I have trusted in your loving kindness. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me." Here we find David trusting in God, rejoicing that despite his circumstances, salvation is his, and those truths that David is sure of result in joyous singing to his Creator and Provider. Now here is what's interesting about this. David's circumstances, whatever was making him feel the sorrow and abandonment from God, haven't changed one little bit. What was renewed was David's mind and his heart. Romans 12:2 says that we are to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. Now look at those last 2 verses again in Psalm 13. David trusted the Lord. Why? Because he knew him and humbled himself before God. The more we know Christ, the more we trust him. David rejoiced in the security of his salvation. Paul tells us that no matter what happens to us here, we have an inheritance in heaven that cannot be taken away. And the outpouring of that was David offering praise to the Lord in song. David humbled himself under God's mighty hand, as Peter said in our verse today, knowing that God would exalt him at the proper time. His trust was built on a firm foundation. Just like the wise man who builds his house on the rock, we need to do the same. No matter what our circumstances, we need to continually humble ourselves before God, to cry out to him in prayer, and to trust and rejoice in the truth of Scripture, and cast all of our cares on him, and be at peace with the knowledge that God has not forgotten his child. Now, I wrote this vignette on Friday last week. Then on Sunday, which I do every week, I posted another Charles Spurgeon quote on my ministry's Facebook page, not even realizing that the 2 go nicely together. I'll leave you now with that Spurgeon quote. "You may fear the Lord has passed you by, but it is not so. He who counts the stars and calls them by their names is in no danger of forgetting his own children. He knows your case as thoroughly as if you were the only creature he ever made and the only saint he ever loved. Approach him and be at peace."
Now if this life from you withholds all its silver and its gold, and you have to get along with meager fare. Just remember in his word how he feeds the little bird. Take your burden to the Lord, leave it there. Leave it there, leave it there. Take your burden to the Lord and leave it there. If you trust and never doubt, He will surely bring you out. Take your burden to the Lord and leave it there. Now if your body suffers pain and your health you can't regain, soul is slowly sinking in despair, Jesus knows the way you feel. He can save and He can heal. Take your burden to the Lord and leave it there. Oh, leave it there, leave it there. Take your burden to the Lord and leave it there. If you trust and never doubt, He will surely bring you out. Take your burden to the Lord and leave it there. Oh, leave it there, leave it there. Take your burden to the Lord and leave it there. If you trust and never doubt, He will surely bring you out. Take your burden to the Lord and leave